I'm gonna check.
Live on YouTube. Valentine's page. Sorry, we're having technical difficulties. Okay, wait. Okay, cool. Live. Up.
Okay.
Hello and welcome to another episode on the Cultivated channel. Today we are going to talk about the holidays and what we love, maybe hate, and all about what the holidays mean to us. For me, the holidays, to be honest, is my favorite time of year, and it means, I think it because it means family, and there's something about,
Mhm.
I think that there's something to be said about being able to share with people, being able to be around people, and even though there's difficult conversations, uh, my suggestion for that is to be conscious about how long you're talking to people because we get tired and sometimes some people are very difficult to have a conversation with, uh, but it doesn't mean we can't enjoy their presence. For me, like, I think
Mm.
about the holidays. I talk to my dad, and we didn't see eye to eye a lot of stuff, but I still enjoyed his company, and it was interesting seeing his perspective, and in many ways it helped me understand him better, and it was just nice. And my grandparents used to get together. Now we don't do all that much, but it still means a lot. I think that it's this idea of bringing people together and just having a good time. And I think who doesn't like that? It's like a party, right?
Yes.
And so I think it's really, really nice in that sense to bring people together that we have in our lives and then to serve them in some way, right? Because we're giving them food, we're giving them presents. My suggestion on presents is give the present at the end and walk away. I think what ruins presents is this idea of watching people appreciate their parents, their gifts, and then did they like it, did they not like it, and so on and so forth. What do you think about when you think about the holidays?
I think it's similar. It's about being together with family and friends, and it's also the mood, like a festive mood, a celebrating mood. Also, I think there's something to like the closing of the year
Mm.
and
Mm-hmm.
then being able to think, kind of be in all three different time periods. They're sort of reflecting on the year and thinking, as it seems to be more and more, wow, the year went so fast, but then trying to take time. Like, how was this year for me? What did I do? What did I grow? who was I spending my time with, and then also very much in the moment. I just find even
Mm.
just like waking up in the morning and seeing the tree all lit up, it just feels really nice. It feels special, and I'm very much in this moment, or when celebrating with family or friends. And then also thinking, okay, well, the new year's coming, and what
Mm.
do I want to focus my energy on in the new year? And so I think it's a nice moment to have these reflective, be present because it's fun,
Mm.
especially with young children because it's really fun for them and to like experience and get in the joy of it with them. And then thinking towards what do I want for myself for next year?
Yeah, I think that that's a nice way, a different perspective on the holidays. And I think yes, be in the present, but it's interesting in the sense of like for me when I think about memories, um, a lot of it's the holidays, right?
That's true.
And so and sometimes it's maybe awkward conversations or you know the the toilet plumbing disaster of one year. Um, but assuming you came out of the disaster, you don't smell like poo anymore. Uh, it's still a good time. I think so many times I will say this. I'm not saying don't plan for a dinner, don't plan for the gifts, but allocate it the right amount of time. And I think what's really important is letting go, right? Like I'm not saying
Mm.
don't plan and don't over plan because then you're a perfectionist and you don't get anything done. But the plan like plan for the gifts, plan for the dinner, and then allocate that time and then be done, right? You can always make the pie look better. You can always buy more gifts or think more about what gifts you're going to buy. But I think when it comes to the present, it's letting go because you just need good people and you'll have a good time, right? Like if you just like, I think so many times it's forced, right? Like, oh, what are we gonna
Mm-hmm.
do? How are we gonna? Oh, we need the gifts. Oh, what are we gonna do now? And I think the best times are just having a conversation with somebody.
I think it's something that as some of the, let's say, rituals of the holidays shift, also getting older,
Mm.
and um, where I am during the holidays, who I'm with, if it's not the biggest crowd of family and cousins and everyone, how it used to be when I was little, it's also, well, what do I want it to be? Because I can kind of create some rituals or maybe leave
Mm.
more space for just spending time together and appreciating that. So I think it's about, well, what do we want to do also with a child to say, okay, this is what the holidays are, this is what happens on this day, and then this is what we do for New Year's, and kind of creating some of those rituals that I also think are part of those memories, those core memories around the holidays. um, and it's really kind of exciting to say, oh, I could make this kind of be
Mm.
whatever I want it to and continue to do it, and it can become a ritual or not, if it's something that didn't really resonate for me.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think so many times we get stuck on rituals just because that's the way we've always done them, and I, you know, I think that's beautiful and that's nice and everything, but I think grounding yourself in why you do them
Mm.
is really important because sometimes we have to adapt and modernize and change. Maybe you took a walk on the beach, but you're not by the beach anymore. So like you can't force it. You can't fly across the world to the closest beach potentially, so that you can have the ritual of walking to the beach. Something that I mean that's really silly and clear, but I think it brings up a good example in reference to like I think sometimes we force rituals because we've always done them, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that we can let them go. And when we try to find other new ones, we can try and we can then let them go if they don't work, right?
Right.
And again, it's like letting go is really important to let us be in the moment. And so, and if it is good, then continue with that. But remember why you did it in the first place, because I think sometimes we lose track of that, and then we don't get that element from that moment when we do that thing. But I mean, like I said, I think many times we overthink it, and it's just nice to sit and have a conversation with someone. And I think we need more of that in the world. I mean, it's just so hard to sit. So many times people sit and they want to talk about, I don't know, politics, work, so much work. And again, I understand work, and if you love your work, great. Uh, but just talking to someone as a, I don't know, like there's a level of conversation. You can even talk about work, but like showing yourself, I guess it's vulnerability, right? It's
Mm.
being vulnerable in your conversations. And I think life's too short now that I'm old, to I guess I think I was always old when I was
An
young.
old soul.
But that was the thing. I think having a conversation and just being true to yourself. Right? I always say that at the end, but really being true to yourself. And I challenge you, everybody who's listening, and even if it's not the holidays and you're re-listening to this, go have an honest conversation, a real conversation with somebody. And it could be a stranger. It could be someone you know really well. It could be someone you know, an acquaintance even. And just be vulnerable and talk about something that is true to you, maybe that you care about. And you'd be surprised the other person, we open up. It's this natural thing. And sometimes there's a little resistance, but you just keep, it's like, wow, this person's like, it's like, imagine you like rip open your chest and somehow you have your heart there and people are like, dude, weird. And you're like, it's okay. And then after a while, they're like, okay. You're like, and then eventually you'd be surprised at how much people will open up, and the conversations are great. And sometimes they're little conversations. Sometimes, someone will tell me a story, and it'll happen with this, especially with like, not older people, but like a little older, mid people, midlife people. And they'll tell me a story, right, about something, and maybe the first time they fell off their skateboard or something. And you can see at the end of the conversation that they connected to that kid, and they're kind of in the moment, and they feel good, and they forgot about that kid, and I can see it in them, and I'm just like, and I let it sit, and I'm just like, yeah, it was cool being a kid, and you can still be a kid now, right? And that's great. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Someone shared a little piece of it, and maybe it's just a random story about them falling off a skateboard, but you can see that you brightened their life a little bit because it was a good memory. And even though which brings me to the example, there's no good and bad, right? It's like falling can be bad, and like a difficult conversation could be bad. But when we remember how we remember them, makes them good, and we can cherish it. If it's the last conversation you had, if it's when you learned, to wear a helmet when you skateboard, it's little things like that, and it allows us to go back. And so I think so much before the holidays for me is go, 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 go. And so at the end of the year, like you said, it allows us to reassess and recap. And in that, I think it's really nice to appreciate.
Yes, I think that's part of it, being able to be grateful for what you do have, and whether that's on your own or with family. I mean, I know for many that's more of a, let's say, Thanksgiving tradition, if that's something that you celebrate. But
Which is very American.
It is. But I think that it's a really wonderful thing to do at the end of the year with the people. And it can even be about what you're grateful for about the people that you're with. And that is also very vulnerable in many ways. If you're saying, I really appreciate this about you, but who doesn't want to hear, of course, assuming it's authentic, doesn't want to hear like what you appreciate about them. And this can be anyone, people in the workplace, your family, friends. And it's just a nice, you could even say, think about the year. And I've done this before and said, I really appreciate that you are, you've been this way this year, or that you've always had such a great attitude this year, and it has made the workplace so much better. Things like that.
Yeah.
That's
a great idea.
It feels good, and it makes everyone feel good. I was just thinking about the kid aspect of things, like finding that kid and that joy. And I think the holidays is a great time where it's fun to get excited about the decorations and the things, and maybe not so much the presents as it was when being a kid, or maybe depends. But it's just the joy of it, and there's some vulnerability in that too, because if you're sharing your joy,
and then someone says it sucks,
right? but more often than not, it's going to be building other people's joy and enjoyment of the celebration or the moment.
Yeah, you agree. And I will say that, and I struggle with it, I won't lie, about the excitement, right? I'm excited inside, but I don't always show it on the outside. And so trying to show your emotion, and it's actually not so much vulnerability. It's just, I think the way I was raised, it was not a form of expression. But that being said, if you aren't like that, don't force it, right? Be authentic.
Right,
Same thing. Don't lie about what you appreciate about somebody or something. Or when you thinking about gratitude, those type of things, don't lie to yourself or to others. Even though, you know, you might think it's good, it usually doesn't come off that well. And so, like, be authentic in how you do it. And yeah, I think the holidays allows us to touch back to that inner kid and just be, you know, joyful for the time that we have, another year being with friends. And it's really, really nice in many ways. Children, I think, help us remember those things. And you know what? Sometimes someone's going to be like, it's a capitalist cash grab and, you know, overhyped and blah, 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 which I won't lie, it has their foundation. And I'm not going to deny them that
Yes.
truth. And that's okay. But as long as you're honest with yourself of what it is. And I think that's, you know, I think can come back to the idea of being honest with yourself. For me, I think that it took me a long time to be okay with my superpower, my power with other people is calm, right? People have told me this. The first time I heard it, I was like, oh, that's nice, and I was like, I wish people thought it's other things. You know, because sometimes you think of something like they're always excited, fun life,
Right.
it's so great, you know. That's kind of what I want to be, but I can't be that. And so I have to be honest with myself. And what I do, someone sees me and they think everything's going to be okay. I was hugging my kid the other day and I told them, oh, you make me so happy. And they told me, you make me so calm. I was like, well, okay. And I was like, okay, that's nice. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
safe,
And
comfortable.
at first I was like, well, I can't I make you happy too? But it was just, yeah, it's about, we're all amazing and we're all amazing in different ways, and being authentic with yourself and appreciating those aspects inside of you. So not just appreciating other people,
Yes.
but appreciating those aspects of you. You made it through another year. Life is hard. Look at the world. Things are difficult. And, you know, I was talking to a friend and they're having problems with their jobs and stuff. And, you know, job security is a big issue. And so life is difficult. You made another year, and pat yourself on the back, appreciate those things, and, you know, focus on the things that made you better. Difficulty is not bad. It makes you stronger. And the next year, if you have exactly the same year, you'll probably do it better, right? So, you know, focus on those type of things. And the odd thing is, when you have that mindset of focusing on growth, focusing on becoming better, it's not as bad typically, right? Because you have more tools. You might still end up in a difficult situation, but you have more tools. And so the holidays, I think, is very good about appreciating and showing your gratitude, but also to yourself.
I agree. I think that's something that many of us aren't so intentional about. I mean, I'm talking about myself too. I'm trying to do a better job of that because I think self-compassion is important, and
Yes.
I'm practicing to make it more of a practice, to make it more of a habit, because it's much easier for me to sort of be kind and I guess forgiving to others and then very hard on myself. And I think many of us do this in different ways. And so taking the time when I'm reflecting, because I do like the practice of being grateful to other people and appreciating what they've done or who they've been or how they've showed up over the year or in specific moments of the year. But I think taking that, and I'm going to do that this year, taking that in the reflection time that I have to say, you know, how have I showed up for myself or for others, and also been kind to myself, but then celebrating some of the wins. I think I bring that up in a lot of our conversations because that's
Important.
part of it. And that's part of the compassion and the kindness to myself, because I think it builds the habits also of doing things that then you can celebrate because, oh yes, I did it. I accomplished this, or, you know, I kept this habit up, or I was able to do this for my child, or be consistent with something that's really challenging for me, like going to bed on time.
Yeah, I will say this, because I keep talking about others and how great it is. And it's because we're social beings is good. But if you are the group that is shy and maybe has difficulty with, you know, others and everything, you know, you can be kind to yourself by taking breaks, right? Like if you're in a really, you know, crowded house, go find a room that's empty and like take a 2-minute, you know, deep breath. And it doesn't mean that it's not good. it's just that's not your jam, right? Or maybe try to do a coffee with somebody for the holidays. There's a lot of people in
Mm-hmm.
town visiting and visiting their family. So instead of going to a party, right? Let's say you think about going to a party and you're like, oh, I really want to touch base with so and so, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be loud, maybe, right? So maybe ask them out for coffee and have a conversation with them. That's going to feel better. Or, if that's too much for you, go to an art show, right? And that way you have something to distract you and there's not so much pressure on one. But find the way that you can connect with people. We're social beings and it
Mm-hmm.
feels good to connect. Be kind to yourself and not lie in reference to how you want to connect and do it that way. Um, and if you want any tips, uh, find things you like about people. We were just talking about this before. A good technique is try to find things you like about somebody, even if you just met them. Oh, I really
Mm.
like that dress. Oh, I really like this. And then voice it. As long as it's authentic, people love it, right? And it's one of those things that, if you find things to like about them, they will like you, right? And that makes everything easier. The conversation's better. And if you do struggle with small talk, just ask open-ended questions. And that let the other person talk and talk and talk and you connect with somebody. And yeah, if you're not into crowds, then just talk to one person at the party and
Mm-hmm.
have a good time. Enjoy yourself. It's the holidays. Be kind to yourself. Try these things, like I said. Try doing one of the things. Like we actually said a lot of different
We
things.
did
Uh,
many
so
things.
just try one of those things in reference to like, I guess the holidays is about others. So try to connect with
Mm.
somebody, but try to do it in your way. And if you don't know, try something you think would work for you. I think that's a good one.
Yes.
What do you think?
I
Anything you want
agree.
to
I
end with?
think that's a great one. Trying to connect and be kind to yourself and be enjoying the moment because it is a joyful season.
Yeah. All right, I think we'll end it there. Hopefully that was good. I literally thought of what we're going to talk about like 2 minutes before we started shooting. So if it was kind of all over the place, I won't apologize, actually. I thought it was nice. There's a lot of great things about the holidays, but make it the way you want to make it and enjoy it the way you want to enjoy it. And if you don't know what that means, find it. And like I said, be kind to yourself, connect with others. Until next time, actually, we're going to probably take a bit of a break, probably for a few weeks. We'll probably see you sometime in the new year, ideally by February, at least once. Until we see you, stay curious, stay open, and stay true to you. And if you want any more info, please check out the book, Selfish Guide. Makes a good gift. Or the website, cultivita.com. Hopefully, in the new year, I'll be updating the website to add in a lot of stuff. I know it's a bit dated, but there's still lots of great resources there. And check us out on all the other social media. Until next time, bye.